Pleasure to have you here this morning. And can I ask for people who have never been to a Pathfinders before to raise your hand, and we'd just like to welcome. Wow, that is amazing. God bless you. Really, really great to have you here this morning, and fantastic to have the students here. Can we welcome our young students, year 12 students as well. Really fabulous to have all these young minds here, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from Lisa this morning. All of her achievements are really going to be very inspiring and motivating for us all. The reason I get to talk here is originally when we started Pathfinders, we felt like, just the commercial world was pretty well ignored by the church, and people in the marketplace trying to find bearings on all sorts of areas like relationships and how does success and Christianity fit, and just a variety of things, integrity in the marketplace, where's the moral compass, etc. And all of those questions, I think, seem to not get addressed in a Monday to Friday context. Maybe on Sunday there's some religious services that we can attend, but actually taking that home and having relevancy in the marketplace is something that I wanted to do and we've wanted to do. So that's been part of our vision, to really bring another voice into people in business, in their world and their relationships, and try and relieve some of the pressure and the stress and help them navigate their way through, because certainly all of us with any kind of responsibility feel it real keenly on certain days, and I think it's important to have relief moments and know that there are communities like this that you can actually fellowship in, network in, and become part of, and that can be very helpful. So that's what I'm seeing myself as in this context, like a chaplain to the marketplace. I wanted to talk about wake up and dream here this morning, and normally we'd talk through some patterns of wisdom or team building, vision casting, problem solving. I wanted to take a hold of a more inspirational tone here today and talk about right believing and wrong believing. Start off, I'd like to tell you a story about an old guy who was walking down an English country road, and there was a frog on the side on a rock, and the frog said, spoke to the guy, "Give me a big kiss, I'll turn into a beautiful young lady." And the guy said, "I beg your pardon?" And the frog spoke again and said, "Give me a big kiss and I'll turn into a beautiful young lady." And with that, the old man leaned down, picked the frog up and put it in his pocket. And the frog jumps out of the pocket and says, "Hey, what's going on? You got to kiss me, I'll be a beautiful young lady." He said, "At my age, I don't need no young, beautiful lady. I can get more money out of a talking frog." Anyway, I don't know what that's got to do with what we're talking about, but right believing and wrong believing. Here's a passage out of the Old Testament, book of Genesis. So now in Genesis 37:18. "Now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him." It's referring to a guy called Joseph. He's a young 18-year-old boy who's had a dream, and he told his family. The dream's a pretty big dream. "Then they said to one another, 'Look, this dreamer is coming. Come, therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit. And we shall say some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams.'" Fascinating, isn't it, that it's not a new thing that there are dream killers all around us. People who want to put you down if you're thinking high and dreaming about the world being a better place. And we are surrounded by negativity, so it takes a strong soul to rise above it all and really attempt some greater things. Even down here in Sydney, I read this last week how there were some predictions like young people will never be able to buy their own home, the dream home. Sydney Morning Herald ran a story from Michael Pascoe last week in their Business Day section regarding first home buyers. This is what he says. "You know the story about first home buyers squeezed out of the market, forever beaten at auctions, sometimes spun with an undertone of foreigners robbing our children of their birthright. It's rubbish. Maybe you've seen the oft-quote figure that first home buyers' share of the home buying market is down to a record low of 14.5%. In fact, they are running at around 25% of the total home buying market, and maybe more than that of new dwellings. The Reserve Bank's latest quarterly statement said the number of first home owner grants paid for new dwellings has continued to trend higher, increasing by 22% over the past year, noted the RBA. That's spectacular growth. So what I'm saying there is that the news is telling you that it's impossible to buy a home in Sydney because the median price is now $1 million. When we came here from New Zealand in 1980, the most expensive home we'd ever bought was $21,000 in New Zealand. We came here and they were $135,000. So I asked my brother to go halves with us in buying this house in 1980. He said to me, "What are you trying to buy, the Taj Mahal? $135,000. It's always been impossible to buy a home in Sydney. You know, the most difficult figure I've ever had to try and comprehend is that somebody said to me once, house prices double every 7 years in Sydney. I said, couldn't be. I added it up from the time that we arrived till now, 35 years ago. It's true. And right believing and wrong believing can really influence the way we try to navigate our way in just the real estate, in terms of marriage, in terms of building a business, in terms of building things that we have a dream about. There's always going to be reasons and facts and data that people will tell you that are going to make it seem impossible. I want to tell you some things that you believe but are wrong. Most of us believe that Vikings had horned helmets. They didn't. Most of us believe that we lose 98% of our body heat through our head, right? You don't. You lose heat through whatever area is not covered. We all believe Napoleon was short, right? He wasn't. He was around 5'7". We believe that dogs age at 7 human years every 1 year of our life. They actually mature about 21 years in their first 2 years and then level out to 4 years every year after that, if you understood that. George Washington had wooden teeth, didn't he? No, he didn't. He had 4 sets of dentures made of lead, ivory, gold, and animal teeth, but no wooden ones, sorry. You know, it's amazing the things we do believe. Aristotle was meant to be a very brilliant man, and he said, the heavier an object, the faster it would fall to earth. That belief was not contested for 2,000 years until a guy called Galileo in 1589 summoned learned professors to the base of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He went to the top, pushed off 2 weights, one weighing 10 pounds and the other weighing 1 pound. Both landed at the same time. But the power of belief and the conventional wisdom was so strong, the professors denied what they had seen. They continued to say that Aristotle was right. The same guy, Galileo, proved the theory of Copernicus, which was that we revolve around the sun, not the sun around us. Even when he asked the priests to look down the telescope, they wouldn't do it because they did not want to change their belief. And yet it was a wrong belief. Some of us won't even attempt to do things because we've believed wrong things all along, that we can't do it, or that we were not destined or weren't designed or don't have fate on our side, or there's some reason why, or our parents said it'll never happen. We had a teacher who said you'll never amount to anything. We have really got to change our believing inside our heads. Discouraging words from parents, friends can cause us to be very negative. But Joseph, even though his brothers did try to kill his dream and did try to kill him, they were going to kill him, but they didn't. They ended up throwing him down a pit, and then they thought we can make some money out of him, so they sold him. That's where the frog story fits. And they made money out of their brother, Joseph, and he was sold as a slave. And then he rose to the top of the household that he was a slave in. And so they gave him the run of the house. But then he was falsely accused of attempted rape. And nobody was going to believe the word of this young Hebrew slave boy against the word of a wealthy woman in the house. And so he was thrown into prison. But in the prison he rose to the top again. He wouldn't let his dream die. And then one day he interpreted the dreams of other people. He started to help others get their dreams to come to pass. He couldn't do much for his own, so he helped others get their their aspirations come to pass. And eventually the king heard about him, asked him to come up and interpret a dream he had had. So when Joseph saw the king, he told him what the king had seen, interpreted the dream, and in a day he went from the prison to the palace. He was lifted out of that pit, and his dream came to pass, holding on to it for 18 years without denying it. Even though everything came against him, time after again, he found himself actually being able to fulfill something that was in his heart right from a young age. I would say that believing is at the root cause of whether or not we're really going to get through all the things that we face. Believing we can do it. Dennis Waitley, he said, it's not what you are that holds you back, it's what you think you are not. He also goes on in his treatment of what a winner is. He said, losers let it happen, winners make it happen. Losers step on flowers, searching for weeds. Winners pull up weeds while enjoying the fragrance of the flowers. Losers always have an excuse. Winners always have an idea. Losers identify with problems. Winners identify with solutions. Losers say, it's not my fault. Winners say, let me help you. Losers see a problem for every answer. Winners see an answer for every problem. Losers are down on life and high on drugs. Winners are down on drugs and high on life. Losers fix the blame. Winners fix the situation. Losers see the thunderstorms and icy streets. Winners see rainbows and ice skates. Losers say, why don't they do something? Winners say, here's something I'm going to do. Losers are failure conscious. Winners are success conscious. Losers do it to others and split. Winners do it for others. Losers say it might be possible, but it's too difficult. Winners say it might be difficult, but it's always possible. I love the statement from a guy called Chesty Puller. Don't know if I've ever heard anybody called Chesty Puller. U.S. Marine Corps. When surrounded by 8 enemy divisions during the Korean War, he said, all right, they're on our left, they're on our right, they're in front of us, they're behind us, they can't get away this time. Whew. Classic. Story about a young Yale Architectural University student, 22-year-old Maya Lin, entered a competition to construct the Vietnam Soldiers' War Memorial. She won the project out of 1,421 submissions, more than any other competition America had attracted. When the judges arranged to visit and meet her, they were not just shocked by the fact she was so young and still a student, but she was also Asian. This brought enormous criticism because of the association with the Vietnam War. It went to second judgment with all kinds of inquiries and a barrage of criticism, but she held her ground and stood to defend herself. She won, and today is a heroine in the architectural world. Returned servicemen gather at the wall, as it is known, and weep as they touch the names inscribed on the granite of the sculpture. She overcame, and because of that, she is helping others to do the same. So 3 things I want to leave you with today. You need to believe in you and that you can do it. You need to believe that you can do better than you've ever done. You need to believe that you have not reached your ceiling, but that this is just the beginning and your best days are ahead of you. 2, you need to believe in your team and that they can do it. Tell them they can do it. Give them feedback and give them jobs that will stretch them. And number 3, you need to believe in God, that He is with you and He can do what you can't do. If you're not sure that God is with you, then the answer is simple. Just ask Him. He's more than willing to be your friend, your senior partner, and your guide in life. Amen.